There is a word that is now creeping in to describe the William Ruto regime that many may find maybe a little unexpected. Okay? And that word is naive. It would seem that the most powerful people in Kenya today are very powerful, yes, but they are also naive. Now, naive does not mean that somebody is not clever. No, not necessarily so. Let me give you a quick example in a sentence. The respected university professor was naive enough to believe that his research assistants would come through for him. Yeah, I've used the word naive there. And so, how is this Ruto regime naive? How are these powerful people naive? Well, let me take you back to the title of a biography by a Kenyan politician who was once very powerful, a man called Kithure Kindiki. What was the title of his biography? Illusion of Power. Bila kizungu mingi, this very experienced politician looked back at his career towards the end of his life, and he made the judgment, and he made the conclusion that power is an illusion. Yes, you think you're powerful, but really it's an illusion. And it is not only the powerful who are naive in Kenya today. Too many political analysts are also naive, because in my opinion, my humble opinion, anybody who starts discussing 2027 and 2027 politics, looking at the situation as it is in Kenya today, is naive. During the short break I took recently, I made an effort to speak to as many ordinary Kenyans as I could speak to. And a vast majority seem to believe that the Ruto presidency will survive to the year 2027. And therefore, we can also say, many ordinary Kenyans who believe they understand politics are actually being naive. Fortunately, it is possible to be naive in politics, but to understand the spiritual and to understand spiritual science. Now, too many people are telling us that the year 2025 will be the year of change in Kenya. And some of those people are speaking from a spiritual perspective. Now, armed with that very, very lengthy introduction and very detailed, I believe we're better prepared to look at what is happening on the political scene, including the very latest. Deputy President Kithure Kindiki reappeared, and he seems to be rubbishing any suggestion that there's a fallout between himself and President Ruto, which is okay, except, my friends, the body language. The body language. You know, you can be saying something, but then your body refuses. You're saying something which is coming out of your mouth, and your body is saying something very different from what we're hearing coming out of your mouth. Okay? I would urge you to go back and review those videos carefully. And please, don't be naive. Okay? In other news, this abduction story has now taken another trajectory. And this trajectory is not good. This trajectory spells disaster for the William Ruto regime, especially because it comes very shortly after Ruto himself told Kenyans We shall stop the abductions. We shall stop the abductions. Who is we? What did he mean? Well, Kizungu ilikuja na meli, but it is very clear that he meant he knew who was behind the abduction, and number two, he had the power to stop the abductions. That should be clear. Now, shortly after that, we are now getting reports that some of the people who have been missing are no longer with us in the world of the living. Not only that, former Deputy President Kindiki and Gachagua, who is a real thorn in the flesh of this regime, and who, in my opinion, will prove conclusively to historians that actually power is an illusion, has come out and said the reason why those Kenyans who have been abducted are yet to be released, 4 days after Ruto promised they will stop. And according to Gachagua, stopping also means that all those still missing will reappear. According to Gachagua, the reason why that has not happened is that some of those people who were taken are no longer with us in the world of the living. Ay, yeah. Now, not only is that tragic to the families and loved ones of those young people who have been abducted, it is also more than tragic for the Ruto regime. Oh yes, the illusion of power. What I mean is that this fatal mistake, this fatal blunder of judgment seems to have been made by people who do not understand or who never understood that actually power is an illusion. They may have imagined that they have so much power that they can do anything they want to do and nothing will happen. They must have imagined that there is nothing which can touch them. Okay? And that one has been an illusion for centuries. They are definitely not the first to fall into that trap. That should be clear. And of course I can hear some of you asking me, Chris, what do you mean? What can people do? What can ordinary people do against this injustice? Nothing. People don't have power. I can hear some of you saying that. Now, please allow me to refer you to a story that will help you understand the mysteries of wielding power, of having power, where it is a mirage that can disappear before you have time to say the word mirage. As history proves, it can vanish so quickly that you can be left more than dizzy, very confused. How? I thought I had power. Now, of course, the story I'm referring to is in the good book. And it is the story of a very powerful king, anointed and chosen by Almighty God. This one was real, not like some other ones in the country called Kenya. And one day, David had a very serious problem. And this problem was so serious that as powerful as he was as a king, he had to flee. He had to run away to save his own life. Now I know most of us know that story. And if you read that story again, you'll be left with many questions. On top of the list will be the question, why did a powerful king have to run away? All he needed to do was to gather his army around him na kae ngumu. Why did he need to run away? My friends, the illusion of power. Now please allow me to remind you that the big issue here, the big problem here, was the king's own son, a man called Absalom. Very handsome young man and very popular. And of course, an insider. Absalom did 1, 2, 3, just a few things. And within no time, his father was running away, running for his life. And of course, Absalom wanted to be king, in the place of his father. The illusion of power. Let us come back to Kenya. There is a man called Kindiki and Gachagua, who was once upon a time an insider. And he did a very small thing. Oh, so small, many people did not even notice. He came out and he gave us a name. One name, just the first name, Abel. And he told us that this person sits on the 21st floor of a building in the Nairobi CBD. Okay, and that this person is in charge of abductions. So what? I'm sure that was the reaction of many people. And I'm afraid that may also have been the reaction of some very powerful people who are in power in Kenya today. But look at the chain of events that followed. We were given a fake Abel, and then finally somebody came out and gave us an Abel that seems to be the Abel that Kindiki and Gachagua was referring to. And then after that, things in Kenya are not the same again. An insider. And the naive thing, the naive trap many people have fallen for, all through history, called the illusion of power. Yes, you have power. Yes, you can do many things. But at the end of the day, when push comes to shove, it is an illusion, believe it or not. Especially because it is not possible to be more powerful than the people you rule. It is not possible. Even in the days of kings, who inherited thrones, who were very powerful, they were still not powerful enough to be more powerful than their subjects. Go back and read your history. And therefore, if you get into a situation where too many of your subjects, not even too many, if you happen to get into a situation where there are enough of your subjects who don't want you, to continue being king, my friend, you're in trouble. And of course, I know all of us are aware that the situation in Kenya is not enough people not wanting this regime. No. It is many more than enough people not wanting this regime. And therefore, it should be crystal clear as day, that for this regime, it is only a matter of time. It is not if they are going, no, it is when. And many believe this will happen in this year, 2025. You know, the saddest thing about this illusion people have about power is that in the end, the people who are most affected, the people who are most devastated, are not the leader, are not the president. Instead, it is usually the sycophants, the people going around getting rich because so and so is in power, and believing in their hearts that it will last forever, and believing in their hearts that actually power is not an illusion. You know, somebody shared an old piece a beautifully written piece by a Nation reporter about the life of a man in Kenya who was once very powerful, a man called Hezekiah Oyugi. And in that beautifully written article, they described a scene where they witnessed with their own eyes cabinet ministers kneeling down before Oyugi and finally lying down on their stomachs, as if to worship a human being. Yeah? And then Oyugi would place a cane on their heads, indicating that they get up. And maybe also at the same time giving them a blessing. He described that scene so graphically that when you read, you will be there. And then he follows it up with another scene. After Oyugi had discovered that power is nothing but an illusion, he describes Oyugi looking sickly, in a meeting where his former friend and his former boss, President Moi, was addressing people. And Oyugi had desperately been trying to see the president, this man who was once so powerful, without success. And of course it was shortly after that scene that Oyugi left us. He left the world of the living. And in that article, we even get further evidence that Oyugi did not die a natural death. Something was done to him. He was injected with something. And indeed what Troon told us, John Troon from the Scotland Yard, that Oyugi left this earth as a result of a very deliberate assassination by the Kenyan government. That information just confirms that that is the absolute truth. Illusion of power. The most stupid, idiotic, naive thing that any human being can have in believing that they have power is in the simple fact that somebody else, Almighty God, holds all our lives in his hands. Oh yes. You do not know what is going to happen in the next minute, let alone the next hour, let alone tomorrow, let alone the year 2027. And therefore, it is very naive for anybody to believe that indeed they are very powerful, when the one who has given you that life of yours, indeed the owner of that life of yours, whether you like it or not, whether you want it or not, the owner can come to collect what is his, rightfully his, at any time. So what is this power you have? How long is it going to last? The illusion of power. Happy New Year, my friends. In this year, which is going to be very chaotic, but it is also going to be the year of great change in the nation called Kenya. It is also going to be the year that many Kenyans who have lived for decades without seeing justice will see that justice. And of course I will be here at the pleasure of the one who gives me life to update you and to keep you up to speed. Happy New Year, my friends. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.